In this video, we're going to take a look at the Pilot Vanishing point. Let's jump straight to the end with my thoughts on this pen. I like using this pen. It's quick and convenient to use. It really is a great pen for the student note taker or for anybody who finds they really, on a majority, do a lot of quick note jotting. I don't have a problem with it when writing a full page. I don't have any kind of discomfort, and I know some people complain about the clip, but I don't have any kind of real issue with that. The most noticeable thing that I would point to as any kind of downside for this pen is I do find that it is a little more finicky about what ink goes in it. For instance, in writing with the Lamy Benetite, or Benetoit, that one, it hard starts the first time on the day. So when it sat overnight, it took a little bit to get writing. I then put off doing a writing sample for another day to see if it was a fluke, and it wasn't. Now, I have experienced this with this pen in the past, so while everything about writing with it is really good, it is a little finicky about what ink goes in it. So you want to make sure you have a very wet ink or even a thick ink, kind of like KWZ's, in order to get your best writing experience from this pen. Now that we know my feelings on the Pilot Vanishing point, let's see how I got to that opinion, starting with the unboxing. My Pilot Vanishing point, purchased secondhand, came in a box like this. This pen was purchased used, so the box was in a little bit rougher shape, but still very good shape. I do like this particular box. It's very good. I don't have any complaints about it. I'm happy the previous owner held on to it. With the pen out of the box, we need to get to the nib. And as long as it doesn't take 20 turns to uncap a pen, I'm generally okay. But how many turns does it take to uncap this pen? The Pilot Vanishing point takes no turns to uncap and only a short push of the button. The click mechanism is what makes this pen so standout good in the pen community. It really bridges that gap between a ballpoint click pen and fountain pens. Typically, when you're using this, people won't even notice for a bit that you even have a fountain pen, which is pretty neat that it kind of disguises itself so well. This gets us to the nib. This pen has a gold medium nib. This is a very small nib, and in a couple of the pictures you can see some of the cracks that are at the tip of the pen body itself. Again, this is a used pen, and it had been dropped and had been damaged. Now, I really don't have any problems with it with that damage, which is a reason I've never considered replacing the pen, and I got it at a steal of a deal because of the damage that was there. If you enjoy videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, let's ink this pen up. The Pilot Vanishing point is a proprietary cartridge or converter pen. This Con 40 holds approximately 0.6 milliliters of ink. The ink for today is Lamy Benetite. While it does use converters as well as cartridges, the biggest downside I see of it is the cartridge or the converter is so deep into the nib housing itself that you really can't tell how much ink is in this pen at all. In fact, filling it sometimes, it's a little difficult to tell that you get a full fill. As a habit, I don't normally post my pens, but some people prefer to post their pens, and some pens need to be posted in order to be used comfortably. I'm going to challenge you to post this pen. Anybody who's managed to post this pen, please let me know down in the comments because I really want to know how you do it. Now, the important part, the writing sample. In most reviews you hear, you're going to have people point out the inconvenience of the clip in your finger position depending on how you hold a pen, which is true, but I think that it's largely overplayed. It's a need to have something negative to say about a pen. I myself don't find any problem with that clip, and with the nib being as small as it is, I find the clip to be helpful in making sure that the pen stays at a proper orientation to the page. So with that, it's writing. Mine is a medium. That's what was on it when I purchased it used. I had considered going with a fine and getting a replacement nib unit, but that would cost much more than I paid for this pen. It writes very smoothly, and while it didn't do it with this ink, it does sing while writing when I use KWZ inks in it, which is the reason I pointed at them earlier in the video. It is very smooth with the slightest bit of feedback. I'd prefer a little bit more feedback. Now, I don't know if this is exactly the way that it came from the manufacturer or had it been worked on, or maybe there was some damage and some repair that they then worked on the nib as well. So I can only talk about it for as it is. It is a very smooth writing pen that feels very comfortable in my hand. I find it to be really good when I'm in my classroom walking around and I may jot some notes on some student papers for them just as I'm walking. So to be able to have something that just is a quick use pen, a single hand, is a really neat thing, and it's one of the reasons this pen has found its way in and often out, but most people in the pen community are very familiar with this pen and either have one or have had one at a time. There's good reason for it. This is a really good pen. Now for something a bit more standard in comparing writing size. I use Mnemosyne Blue to do this, and here's how it compares to a Jowo Extra Fine on the left, a medium in the middle, and a 1.1 stub on the right. As is a normal thing with Pilot pens, this is a medium and it writes more like a Western Fine, which isn't any kind of a problem as long as you are expecting that when you get it. You may be surprised if you prefer a Western medium and this is the first Japanese medium that you tried. But how does this nib compare to other nibs that I've used in writing size? Looking at the writing of a Pilot Vanishing Point with a medium nib, here it is next to a Parker Jotter with a medium nib, a Pelikan P200 with a medium nib, a Visconti Van Gogh with a medium nib, a Pierre Cardin President with a medium nib, and a Pilot E95S with a medium nib. So it isn't a review without some size comparison. Here it is capped. Here it is uncapped. And here it is posted. The pen in size is good. It's very average in size, which is itself good. It makes it easy to use and not really a huge adjustment for you when you're switching from one pen to another. I find its girth to be very pleasant in my hand, and the slight tapering down as we move towards the nib doesn't get too thin, so it doesn't cause any kind of hand cramping. At this point, we have a dirty pen that we need to clean. Be sure to check out the next pen review when we take a look at the Noodler's Nib Creeper.
Are you a nerd with a hobby? Have I got the thing for you? People will actually give a penny for your thoughts, pennies not included. If you act now, you can get this very same penny for $19.95 with no shipping and handling, and you can get two for $29.95. We're running an insane deal. Act now.
If you want to be able to support not just my channel, but any reviewer, then when you make a purchase, be sure to tell that retailer where you heard about it. Thanks for watching.